What we're looking at now is a HIIT variation timer of 30 seconds on, 0 seconds off by a total of 10 rounds. Now this works really well if you're doing a lot of body weight exercises or a lot of exercises that you can bounce from one to the other. If you're using bands where you might need to move them from foot to ankle, you might want to change it just a touch to give it 30 seconds on and 5 seconds off, just to allow for that little bit of a changeover. How each one of these variations works, you're going to choose 5 exercises, which you'll repeat for 2 times each, which makes a total of a 5-minute block. Now, throughout this section, we're going to share with you some body band examples, some power band examples, mini band examples. We've got a few different variations there. Now, if you want to put them together as a full workout, basically choose 3 of them, okay? Have a couple of minutes off in between, and put them back to back, and then do them twice, and that would equal a 30-minute workout. All right, guys, let's get into this next section. Our 30 seconds on, 0 seconds off by 10 rounds. So our first block, predominantly looking at lower body exercises on the mat, getting through a lot of glute and hamstring work. So working with the mini band here, the first exercise I've got are the glute bridge marches, where essentially you've got the band looped around your feet there, holding that glute bridge and then marching. The second exercise we're moving into is the dead bug style variation. Again, the band stays around the feet and you're pushing those feet away. Now as we move into the third variation, I'm moving that band quickly up to my knees, forcing my knees out while I do a glute bridge. It's, you know, a couple of second hold there at the top. As we stand up here, I move into the fourth variation, which is the monster walk. You don't need a big distance for this, just a few steps up and back, just trying to keep tension on that band. And finally, that fifth variation is the lateral walk. Again, just trying to work on keeping tension in the band. Second block, we're looking at some standing exercises. We're working on some unilateral stuff with some single leg deadlifts. Again, really working through hamstrings this time, still getting through the glutes and hip flexors as well. Working with the mini band here again. The first one is the round the world touches. So what you're looking at is touching with one foot to the front, to the side, and to the back, and just working around. Again, trying to keep that constant tension. So you do that on the left side and the right side, or vice versa. A really good one, just getting all around the glutes, and works both glutes actually, like left side, right side. Second variation here, I'm just moving the band to my feet, and I'm just working on marching. Just a good one for the hip flexors, this I find. Just pulling the band up, just marching nice and steady, good for the core as well. And then I move into the final 2 variations, which are the single leg deadlift variations. So the left side, right side. So I like to hold opposite hand to the foot for the deadlifts. And again, those exercises work through twice for a 5-minute block. The next block we're looking at is a bit of a combination, looking at moving it towards the upper body. We've got some rows, some bicep curls, some tricep extensions, and then some band pull aparts as well. The upper body variation using the mini band here again, I've got a bent over row, so you take that sort of lunge style stance, split stance, and rowing that band up towards the chest. Really great exercise here for when you don't have any weights. It's perfect with bands. So that's the first variation, left side, right side. From there, we're going to move into bicep curls. So I'm pinning that band to one hip while I alternate curl up towards sort of the shoulder there. Great for the biceps. Gives your biceps a bit of a pump. Third exercise here, or fourth exercise, pardon me, moving down to the tricep extensions. This time I'm pinning it up on my chest and extending down. And the final exercise is kind of like a band pull apart or a row. I'm trying to pull that band apart and towards my chest. Same as always, 5 exercises, repeat them twice. What we're going to look at now is a variation using the power band. Now you can use the band like we've used, the one with the handles, so the long single band, or you can even use the power band loops, which works really well for these exercises as well. Throughout this one, we're working through some single leg variations, some squat variations, really getting through those glutes, those hamstrings, hip flexors for all these exercises. Let's get into it. Using the power band here now with the handles. First variation is sort of like a Bulgarian squat or a lunge, looped around my foot, trying to keep all the weight and all the pressure on that front foot there as I push through. Really challenging this one, a great variation. Again, you're working left side, right side, or right side, left side, doesn't really matter, but it's a unilateral based exercise. From there, I'm going to move into sort of front squats. So I'm going to get that band up around my chest and work through some front squat variations. And then the fourth and fifth variations, I'm going to cross those bands over just to get a bit of extra tension, and then stays around my feet, and I'm just going for band abduction, so out to the side there, just working through the hip flexors and glutes. And again, that works on left side, right side. As always, it's the 5 exercises repeated twice. We're going to look at a partner workout variation using bodyweight exercises and the power band. This one, super high intensity, gets the heart rate high. You're going to stay for 5 rounds in total on the band while the partner's doing 5 rounds of bodyweight exercises. Then you're going to swap for the second 5. With this variation, you might actually want to throw in that little 5-second changeover. Just allows for you to get to the different movements without having to waste any time of your workout. Either way, if you don't add that 5 seconds, it's still a killer workout. As always, these are exercises that your group should be familiar with to start with. If you're busy explaining them, 30 seconds goes by is pretty quick. Let's get into it. Let's have a look what it's like. I love this variation using the power band. Now we're working with partners. So we've got high intensity for bodyweight exercise and then also the band exercise. So if we're looking at the band exercises to start with, we've got jump outs. So you'll jump out as far as that band's going to allow you to jump. You might get 2 or 3 jumps out, just depends on the band there. Then we've got some unilateral sort of stuff. So we've got a side shuffle, again, just going as far as the band's going to allow you. So back to the camera here. Really good, working through glutes, high intensity, great variation. From here, we're going to move into the crawl. So as you can see, the one person's staying on the band the whole time. So the bear crawl, all right, again, just trying to get out to the hat and back. And then the final variation is trying to get the band nice and tight and fast feet. So thinking about like you're going in and out of an agility ladder basically works best. Again, really great variation. It's a lot harder than it looks. So this time, if we have a look at the bodyweight side of things, they're now doing squats. So as we're jumping out, you're going to be doing squats. The second variation is going to be the lateral one, which is going to be the Palov press. So you want to hold that band in the middle of your chest and also press out away from your body to make it a little bit harder as well. So Brenda's just coming back, from prenatal or postnatal essentially at the moment. So she's keeping it in tight to her body, but ideally you want to be pushing that hands out away from the body. And then we're going to be working on lunge variation, so stepping back for the rear lunge. Now you can pull the band in or you can leave it out at a length there. It doesn't really matter. And then the fast feet variation, we're working on an isometric squat hold. So just holding that squat position at the bottom while your partner works through the fast feet. Okay guys, so there are some of our variations for HIIT-inspired workouts using the timing of 30 seconds on, 0 seconds off for 10 rounds. So it works out to be a 5-minute block. All these variations I've shared with you are all using resistance bands. They work great with the mini bands, the power bands with the handles, as well as the big looped bands as well. Now, when you're using the bands, like I've mentioned earlier, sometimes it can be beneficial to throw like a 5-second interval in between, just so you've got enough time to change over between, the band positions or wherever you might need to get to. Again, if you want to put it together as a full workout or a half-hour workout, basically choose 3 of these variations, bundle them together, put them back to back, and that equals 30 minutes. All right guys, thanks for watching. They were HIIT variations using resistance bands.